There's a story I tell. I told you earlier that concurrent with my becoming so interested in learning, the binge learning process and the rest of it, was the birth of this baby boy, who is, as I said, who was very, very learning oriented. Everything he did. And one day, he had a number of little buddies over, the local, children, about 6 of them out in the living room. And they're all playing together. And as kids will do, the kids are constantly baiting each other to kind of share things, right? Well, let me tell you about this. Let's go do this together. And in the consequence of them doing this, which is just going on all the time, I mean, it's like in the background, it's just happening all the time between children, all of a sudden I dropped into what was going on with them, which is one of my favorite things to do in the world. And I discovered something that shocked me. It took me almost a year to internalize it, which was that when these children didn't want to share with one another, when they didn't want to go along, when one was inviting one child and the other child didn't want to go along, what the child that didn't want to participate would say was, "I know." I know. And it was like an energetic shove-off. I know. This is 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, right? Long before they even get to education, they're using "I know" so it's not to be open. Which is, if you think about that and go into it, I mean, that's frightening. It scared me. It scared me real deeply. That little children at such an early age, without any kind of formal setting, just kind of imbibing it from the world, were picking up this kind of knee-jerk "I know" as a kind of a psychological, intellectual door closing to sharing, to learning together, to being open. And that's one of the dipsticks that I use to kind of indicate the degree of the problem that we've got. If we really think that the capacities for learning are so important, and I want to come at that in a few minutes from a couple of different angles, I want to point this out as an example of what we're up against. We're up against a culture that values and that permeates this kind of "I know"ness over the openness to be learning. And we've got to deal with that if we're concerned with, if we see that it's the capacities for learning and how well somebody's able to learn in an ongoing way that's most significant.